TPR.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the TBR podcast. Today's episode is with Zain Rao. Zain is somebody who I met very briefly, as we talk about in the episode. We spoke on Clubhouse, and he is a videographer, photographer based in Canada, based out of Toronto. The reason why I wanted Zain on the show was how young he is. And not just how young he is, how much he's done despite his age. I think he's 18 now. He might be just above 18. And for the past 5 years, he's been working in the photography, videography, YouTube space. So we talk about that. He's worked with people like Shahveer Jaffery. You probably know who he is. He's currently working with Zaid Ali, also a very famous YouTuber. So we talked about how he started in the business at a very young age, and just the drive that kept him going and kept him disciplined and managed school and work and parents and everything, all that together. I certainly would not have been able to do so at this age. Do you know any other people who are this young? This is like a new thing I might be looking to explore. Super young, super talented people. But yeah, for now, without further ado, episode 109.
Have you had many people asking you to explain your YouTuber, creator, photographer journey before?
Yeah. But I love talking about it. So I could explain it like 10 times.
Yeah, okay. So for context, for people watching, people listening, Zain and I spoke very briefly 2 months ago, maybe, on Clubhouse, where there was this room. It was me, a couple other people. One of them was Kazi. We were going on and on about, I don't know if you remember, Zain, but we were like, how old are you to be considered like a responsible adult?
Yes, I remember that.
And what
I love that conversation.
Yeah, what we were saying was, I'm an old person, but Ghazi's younger. But he was like somebody else. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Yasser. But he was like, man, if I work with someone and he's like 25, even then I know, man, there's so much he doesn't know. And Zen took exception to that statement, and he's like, look, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been running my own business and making money since I was it 13? Is it
around there? Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I don't know what you idiots are talking about. I mean, not in those words. He was much nicer. But at that point, I was like, all right, this is interesting. And at some point, I'd be very interested in talking to this guy. And then I checked out your Instagram, your YouTube, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And here we are. So that's how we're doing this. Then would you mind describing what your current jobs are at the moment?
So I'm a photographer from Toronto, Canada. And my job is literally in the name. I take videos for people. I capture photos and videos for people. And recently I've been doing a lot of commercials, doing wedding stuff, doing YouTube, working with other YouTubers, and just a bunch of video stuff. So that's what I've been up to, and that's what I do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so one of the reasons why I joined Clubhouse, apart from figuring out what the app was I was interested in connecting, because this podcast has been around for like 3-ish years. We've done, I don't know, however many episodes, and I've spoken to a lot of creators, but most of them, nearly all of them, are just of Pakistani background, doing stuff there. And I was very interested, since I haven't lived in Pakistan for most of my life. I was interested in finding similar people, not necessarily Pakistani, but outside of Pakistan. And that was one of the reasons why I joined Clubhouse, the Pakistan Club, etc. And you turned out to be one of those people. So when you say you started working as a photographer, videographer at 13, what does that mean? How did you start? Have you lived in Canada all your life?
I was born and raised in Canada.
Born and raised in Canada. Okay. And just to confirm, is your family from Pakistan, or have I got everything wrong?
Yeah. So they're from Karachi, Pakistan. They came here in like 2000 something. I was born in 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You might be the youngest person who's ever been on this show.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think before The youngest person we had maybe was 18. Are you 18?
I'm 18.
Okay, cool.
I look
Maybe.
older.
We'll do a check. But okay, how'd you get into the video thing?
So man, like back in when I was in middle school, being a YouTuber was like the most OP thing you could possibly be. If you're a YouTuber, you're like the coolest kid in
Right.
school, you know, because everybody wanted to be a YouTuber. So I was there. I was like, you know what? Let me make a few videos as well while everybody's talking about this. So I did. I made a gaming channel and I started uploading GTA 5 videos while I was in grade 7.
Yeah.
Of course, it's an 18 plus game and I'm playing it that young.
Yeah.
So I started making like, oh, how to get this car, how to do this in the game, all of course. And it went nowhere. So after like a few uploads, I was like, you know what? Let me start comedy skits because Lily Singh at the time was popping off. And I saw skits being something. I was like, you know, it's funny. It could be a little creative, whatever. So I started doing that. I started that channel. It was called Zain Talks with a very close friend of mine. And he started his own channel. I started my own channel. And the way we did it was I help you, you help me, and we grow together.
Yeah.
2-3 months into it, the guy, his channel was like a tech review channel, which I absolutely loved the concept of. If it wasn't him doing it, I would be doing it. Like I love technology. And even right now on my YouTube channel, I upload tech videos here and there. So a few months down the line, he told me, he's like, man, I don't think I can sustain this. I'm out. And
what was the problem?
Damn. The problem was that he could not get that tech in his hands to review because obviously it's expensive technology, and you know he doesn't have that type of money, and we're super young. We don't have our money. We don't have money of our own. It's always our parents' money. So what happened then? I gave him an idea. I was like, "Yo, imagine going to Walmart, buying something, reviewing it, and just return it because there's 30-day return policy." You know that. Like I had that brain. I was like, "Yo, you could do that," you know. Yeah. But he was like, man, I don't know, like whatever. He stopped, but I still continued, and he still helped me through my channel. I made comedy skits over and over again. I probably made like 30, 40, maybe even 50. I don't remember, but they were horrible. But the views started coming in. Like for me, even 100 views on a video was like, holy shit, this is doing really good. Yeah. So that started happening. I got 100 views, 200 views.
And who was watching?
Views.
Was it like people at your school, your friends?
So in the beginning, I kept my channel super low key. If you knew about it, you knew about it. If you didn't know about it, like you didn't have to know about it. Like I didn't tell anybody. It was just there, you know. It was super low key. Yeah. I didn't tell people about it, and a lot of like friends started watching. Yes, some family members even started watching, but a very, very few people internationally, Australia, India, Canada, America, started watching in. So I was like, yo, this is actually pretty wild. Imagine somebody from Australia watching my videos and actually laughing. It blew my mind. I was like, that's kind of weird. That's kind of sick. So I got to that like 1,000 subscriber range. And I was like, you know what? Comedy skits ain't it. And the reason being was because I wanted to get the quality higher.
Okay.
And focus on the content itself as well.
Right.
But in skits, intertwining both of them was super hard. So what I started doing was I focused more on the quality and the content and started releasing less videos. So if I, like when I tell you I was uploading 2 videos a week.
Right.
For like a year.
That's heavy.
So that's a lot of videos. Like that is a lot of videos and a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'd rather release 5 videos a year, but make them so sick that everybody gets mind blown. So that's what the motto I was living by. So I started doing that. I started making videos that I loved, and I would be uploading like once a month or maybe even once every 2 months. But stuff I was making out, like I was super proud of. They were super good quality.
Yeah, what sort of content was it?
It was like some tech reviews. I started doing that. I brought that onto my channel, like an iPhone unboxing. And I started doing like a very short, it wasn't a skit, but it was like I don't know what I would call it, like a meaningful video, like a motivational type of video where it's like cinematic shots, voiceover, stuff like that. So I brought a little creative element in it, and I love shooting it, I loved editing it. And in that time, I learned how to edit everything. And I learned how to make the shots look nice. And mind you, I don't have a camera of my own at this time.
I
I'm
was
using an
gonna ask.
iPhone.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't get my camera until like 2-3 years down my YouTube career.
Sure.
And so the way I got a hold of a camera was actually through my school. And so I had a really, really good connection with my tech teacher. And we have like a bunch of cameras in high school. And at this point, obviously, I am in high school. So I go to the teacher one day and I'm like, yo, can I borrow the camera for one night? And she goes like, what are you going to do with this camera? And I go like, I just want to experiment. But I didn't tell her about the YouTube stuff because,
Right.
I kept it super low key.
Right.
So I took the camera home. She was like, yo, do not damage the camera. I was like, yo, if I damage it, I'll buy a new camera. That's fine. So I brought the camera home, took care of it very, very well, and I started making YouTube videos. That same camera went to New York with me, went to Montreal, Quebec with me. No, I didn't take it to Pakistan with me. That was an iPhone video. But I started traveling with that camera. The teacher let me have it for like a 3-month period where like you're on summer vacation. She gave me the camera. She's like, yo, you could take it, but just do not break it. I was
Did
like,
the teacher know the camera was leaving like the city, the country?
No, she did not know. But
right.
Like I made sure not even a scratch got on that camera. So I that's how I got the quality up. I was like, yo, this is sick. I got access to a camera for free and I could, make content out of it. I learned how to use the camera. I learned how to edit the footage off the camera, how video works, how everything works. And then I bought my first camera. But before I bought my first camera, I actually got my first job. And this job was like top tier. I could not imagine myself doing this. And I was 16 years old at the time. So this job was with Shahveer Jaffery, the Pakistani YouTuber. And the way I got that job was he posted on his story that, hey, I'm looking for a video editor for a project. And he lives in the same city as me. So I started spamming him. I'm like, yo, I know we live in the same city. I could help you out. I could potentially, do this for you. And he replied within the next few hours. I was at Home Depot with my mom and I screamed. Like, bro, when I'm telling you I screamed, like everybody was looking at me. My mom's like, yo, what the hell's going on? Like, are you okay? And I told my mom, I was like, yo, this YouTuber just replied to me, yo. And this is the first celebrity I'm talking to as well. And like, there's so many things going on in my head. And he called me over the next day. He did like a mini interview. He asked me like, why are you here? How old are you? I lied about my age when I met him.
Of course.
I told him I was 2 years older.
Right. You have to.
But after 2 hours of meeting, I told him the truth. I was like, look, I'm not 18. I'm 16. And his jaw dropped. He's like, what are you talking about? I go like, yeah, like I'm super young. But see, that's where this conversation comes into play. Shahveer was so brave enough, and like hats off to that guy. Like he gave a 16-year-old a chance. And I'm so grateful for that because nobody, like I think about it, nobody's going to do that for you. Like he's giving his whole career off to a 16-year-old and be like, yo, can you handle this for me?
What was the job?
The job was to edit and shoot all his daily vlogs. So I was on set every single day for 2 years, shooting and editing pretty much every single day. Wow. So you can imagine how hectic that got. Like it got like, I'm telling you, sometimes I hated it, but I loved it at the same time because it was so new. It was unique. And I just loved the people around me. I loved how everything worked. I was learning so much and I got so much exposure in the industry. I saw how business worked. I saw how YouTubers worked. I saw like how to make videos, how to edit videos, how to come up with ideas, how to do meetings, how to deal with clients, how to deal with brands, so, like I'm like 16. Oh no, I wasn't 16. I was like 15, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I would learn so much within those 2 years that.
And how are you managing all this work with like school? Like how are your parents chill with this?
So at the time, I was supposed to be an engineer. I was supposed to go into civil engineering.
Sure.
And, even for me, like, I was like, you know what, I'll do it. But right after I graduate, I'm coming into the video industry. Like, that was my plan.
Okay.
So I got the job with Shahveer. My dad was against it. My dad's like, yo, this is going to be a waste of time, like, because he didn't believe in that stuff. And I did. And I was like, yo, like, this is a living example of you could make a career out of all of this. It might be like so crazy to think about, but the man's making thousands of dollars per month
How
making
big was Shahveer at
content.
that time?
So he had 1 million subscribers at the time,
Right.
or
Okay.
maybe even lower. I think 900,000, but around there.
But big.
Super big, yeah. Like 1 million at the time was like huge. You
Yeah, a
know?
million doesn't mean perhaps as much today, but like 3 years ago, 4 years ago,
Yeah,
it was a big
like
deal.
yeah, it was a big deal. So that was my first job. I got a lot of exposure in the industry at a very young age. And that's what I was talking about on the Clubhouse thing, where, yeah, sure, maybe he's young, even 25. Yeah, that's super young, but you should never underestimate a person's capability to learn and to, adapt the industry and, just help out because I did it, but I only did it because I got that exposure and I got that choice of working. If
Mhm.
nobody gave me that chance, if Shahveer that day told me that no, you're super underage and I just cannot give you this work, I would not be here. That's just how simple it is.
Mhm.
If I didn't get that jump start, I would not be here. And that's what I say. But you should give somebody a chance. If they mess it up, cool. That's
Even
okay.
that could be like a learning experience for them.
For that person, it's a learning
Yeah.
experience, but the person who's hiring is like, this guy just
Yeah.
ruined it for me. Like
Sure,
that's
sure.
just how it is. Because at the end of the day, this is all business.
Mm.
It all comes down to business. So, like, sure, if I messed up, sure, you were like, wow, I'll find somebody else. Cool. But if I didn't mess up and I learned and he knew what he was getting himself into, like I learned so much. He gave me 2 weeks training on how to use Final Cut Pro, how to shoot the vlogs, how to edit the vlogs, and how to manage everything.
Sure.
I got that training and then I started getting paid and I started full-time work.
So
But
what do you think it was about like you being there at that moment? Did you have like a good few videos that he could look at? Why do you think he hired you?
I actually don't know. But I think he saw that like I was super passionate about it. And
Okay.
that's a huge thing. If you're
Fair.
not passionate about what you're doing, like you shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
Like
Sure.
I'm being serious. Like sometimes you have to. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you have to do work that you just cannot bear, but you have to do it. It's a necessity. But overall, if your end goal is not what you like, then you're doing it for the wrong purpose. But anyways, that's like a whole different.
That's a whole
subject.
different conversation, sure. But so
Yeah, but
he saw that you were passionate. He saw the videos you'd made, and he was like, I mean, I can make this work.
yeah. So, and the biggest advantage was I was like 10 minutes away from him.
Right.
And nobody else in the area was like, trying to work because his previous editor, Ozzy, he was an hour and a half away.
Mm.
Like for me, it was a little easier in that sense. But yeah, I started like that. And then
how'd you manage it with like schoolwork and stuff? Yeah.
So the schedule was I like obviously wake up in the morning, attend school, get off at 3:30. Either Shahveer would pick me up from school or I would go home and somebody would drop me off to his house, or I would just bus it to his house.
Okay.
But it was like after school directly, I would go to Shahveer's. Now, when I would get to Shahveer's, it's either that nobody's there yet. I'm the earliest one there. So I have like an hour or two to spare. I would do all my homework at his place. Or
Nice.
if somebody is there and there's shooting happening and we're starting right away, I would finish all that work and come back home and do it at nighttime. Or even better, at school, when it's lunchtime and there's a break, like at the hour break, I would just finish everything within that hour.
There's a lot of
that was like super organized.
Yeah. I'm you don't often hear about people, especially at such a young age, being so motivated to do because like school on its own is hard enough. And then this job on its own is hard enough too. But put both of them together. Also, you're perhaps how'd your parents come around on this? Because I would expect like a typical Desi family would be like, look, it's good that you have a hobby, but school is what's important at this time.
So I convinced them for literal years. Like, because I told them, I was like, look, I love what I'm doing right now. Like, I really want to do this for my entire life. But you know what it was? My dad was like, this is a phase. This is just a phase in your age where you think you love something, but after like a little while, you'll start drifting apart from it.
Okay.
And you know what? I even doubted that about myself. I was like, yo, that actually might be true to a certain extent. Like what if a year down the line I start hating this stuff? But so I gave myself time too. I started working with Shahveer. and I saw how much potential this industry has, because before I didn't have any exposure. I did not work. I did not see what the industry is capable of. But when I started working with him, I kind of got the insights of the industry. So I was like, you know what? This is actually doable. Like doable to a level where you could sustain yourself very, very well if you take the right steps. And like, it's doable. That's all I needed. If it's
Right.
doable, like that's fine. So I told my dad too. Like I was like, look, Shahveer did it. Why can I not do it?
Mm.
And then same example, like you're not Shah Rukh Khan. Like there's only 1 in a million people that do this, and like
Yeah.
Shahveer's just like one of them,
Right.
and whatever. And like I was like, okay, this and that. And one of the biggest problems here in my household was that like my dad wanted me to do a university degree.
Of
Like
course.
that's all he wanted.
Right.
And first I convinced, I was like, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm doing the film industry. Like that's all I'm going into.
Okay.
But then it came down to like, okay, if you're going there, then you need to have a proper university degree. And at the time, we did not find any programs that were like offering film for like 4 years, university, proper degree, whatever. So I kind of got screwed over there. But then like a year after, I found a sick program at Ryerson University that did film, 4-year degree program, and it was sick. Like you could do masters, you could get sick jobs after that. It had co-op internships, everything.
Mhm.
And I was like, yo, that's it. Like that's the program I have to go into. And I found out about that at like the end of grade 11. So grade 12 is like the main year,
Right.
Like you got to grind your ass off in
Yeah.
grade 12 and get into university. So I was like, that's it. That's the goal. I have to get into Ryerson no matter what happens, or else I'm screwed. That's straightforward how it was going to be. So I told my dad, I was like, look, there's this program. He did some research on his own, and he came to a conclusion, because I convinced him for such a long time. I was like, look, if I'm not going into film, like there's literally no point in doing architecture, civil engineering, whatever. Like anything other than film is just a waste of 4 years of my time.
Right.
And those 4 years are the most crucial years of my career, because in those 4 years, if I don't do film, one, my career is destroyed. Like I think it's destroyed, because 4 years is a huge time gap.
Big chunk.
So I was like, okay, one, I'm going to get screwed. But if I do film and I do this on the side, I could potentially grow my own business, get the degree. After the degree, either work for like a sick company, or if my business booms, then why the hell not just continue that?
Mhm.
So then my dad was like, okay, you know what? This kind of makes sense. So, he thought about it for like a month or two. And then he was like, you know what? Just do what you love. Because at the end of the day, if you're not doing what you love, no matter how successful you are in life, you will not be happy.
That must have been a big step for your dad.
Huge. Like, I remember he had like tears in his eyes, but he's like, you know what? Like, it's not my life. It's your life. You got to live it. And if you're an engineer or a filmmaker, whatever, I'm happy for you. And letting go of that dream of his son doing a blue collar job or white collar, whatever it's called.
White.
White. Okay.
White's the office. Blue is like labor.
Okay. So like the white collar job, and like, that's a huge step. I understand his perspective and, but then my dad also told me that day, he's like, look, if you're a filmmaker and you're not like the top dog in the industry, then like this was all a waste of a time. So I was like, you know what? I'll try my best.
Sure.
So I grinded out grade 12. I got into Ryerson, which was a huge thing. But while I was doing that, I had to leave Shahveer, because I was like, look, it's either that I focus all my time with your work, or I focus all the time on my school, get into Ryerson, like make my own career. And Shahveer understood that too. And he was like, you know what? You should do that.
So I'm very interested in YouTube culture. I've been, a big YouTube head for like, I think past several years. Through your journey, you mentioned at the start that, Lily Singh was one of the first people who was popping off at the time you got into it. Maybe she inspired you to get into sketch comedy. Then obviously, Shahveer and stuff. How did your YouTube influences change as your own video work changed?
My biggest inspiration from the start was FouseyTube. I love the guy. Like, I know he's had a lot of ups and downs and whatever, but you gotta appreciate the man's work ethic, man. Like, he's like, right now he's grinding to get back on the throne. And although the views aren't there, although the fame isn't there no more, like the man's still like working, you know? So that's what I really, really appreciate about the guy. One. Two, Logan Paul was a huge thing for me. I started following Logan Paul when he only had like 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like I was there from the beginning, like literal beginning. I saw him grow in front of my eyes. And I like his work ethic is amazing too. That's what I look in people, like the way they work. I remember so Fusi went to Logan Paul's house once, and Logan Paul did not even like he got into the house, but Logan didn't even look at him for the first 10 minutes. Why? Because Logan was working on his computer. He got his work done, he closed the laptop, and then met Fusi.
Right.
Just imagine the concentration the man has. Like, and it's not a bad thing he did that. To be honest, I adapted that same skill within myself over the past like year and a half. My boys, my friends, we were playing outside, and I was doing something on my phone. I think I was writing an email, and my friends called my name like 10 times. I swear to God, I did not hear my name.
Right.
And
fully focused.
The guy literally came and tapped my shoulder. He's like, Zain. And I go like, what happened? And he goes like, bro, I called you like 10 times. Like, what's going on? And I go like, yo, I did not hear you. Sorry. Let me do my work and then I'll come over.
Right.
And you know, like now see, that's a skill that you have to develop. Like that's not something God given.
Okay.
But so Fusi, I met Fusi in real life. Sick guy. Yeah, he did a tour. And Logan Paul, Casey Neistat was a huge thing because he's the one who started vlogging. Like he's like the pioneer of vlogging. And I love his style. Nobody else has that style. Even people who try to create that style fail at it. Like it's just Casey's own unique personality and style or creativity that nobody can match. So he was a huge inspiration. His story of how he became successful is absolutely stunning.
Right.
Now, recently, it has been Peter McKinnon. Peter McKinnon's a sick guy. I started watching Peter McKinnon when he had like 800,000 subscribers as well.
Right.
So I saw him grow like literally in front of my eyes. And I've spoken to him 1 or 2 times as well. Pretty nice guy. Yeah. How? So just Instagram DMs.
Okay.
Yeah, so like he's a pretty sick guy. Just seeing his journey of how he grew and the type of filmmaker he is, like super heavily inspiring. Sam Colder is also like when I started taking my quality of content seriously and like the actual filmmaking aspect, like when I saw Sam Colder's 2016 My Year video, like I was mind blown. I was like, yo, this is the shit I want to create. Right. End of story.
Right.
So I started learning a lot of techniques, color grading, transitions. That's where that stuff came in.
And how are you learning all of this? Just self-taught, YouTube tutorials?
YouTube. Man, here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. If you take the right steps in your career, man, I'm telling you, you can accomplish any single thing. I haven't ever paid for any tutorial. I haven't paid. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Like, everything's on YouTube. Like,
of course.
YouTubers are there for a reason. Peter McKinnon is there for a reason, guys. Use his tips and tricks. I do it myself. So, you know, like, it really helps. But, yeah, like, those were my
all this time while you're working with Shahveer and, you know, these influences of yours are changing, is your own YouTube channel still going, or did you, you know, drop off in the middle when you were super busy?
It's still going. I would just say that there's been a lot of ups and downs. Why? Because one, obviously I got super busy, so the schedule wasn't there, but also because I don't know if YouTube's for me. And that's a very heavy statement coming. Yeah. Because I've been doing YouTube for about 7 years, around there.
Yeah.
So and I'll tell you why. So one, because man, how many ideas are you gonna come up with, man? You know, like you do YouTube for a year, you upload maybe like 30 videos, cool. You do YouTube for 2 years, you upload another 30 videos. And you know, like it comes to a point, it's like, okay, now what? You know, like what am I gonna upload next? And you know, the hecticness is still there.
Yeah.
1. 2, although my quality is up there, I still focus on, you know, just making the best piece of content I possibly can. Like if you watch my videos like last year, prom 2020, and this was my summer or something like that. This was summer 2020 or whatever.
Mhm.
Those are the best 2 videos I've ever created in my life. Like, I love those videos. I
Mhm.
love them. I don't care how many views they get. I don't care how many likes they get. I don't care any of that stuff. For me, that's like a little diary. I could look back at that content 20 years from now with my kids and be like, wow, like that was the time of my life. And
Right.
I loved it. And that's what YouTube is for me now. If I'm creating any piece of content on YouTube, it's so I can record it for my self purpose.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
it.
That's fair.
And that's what I'm approaching YouTube with. I don't want to create videos like, how to do this, how to do that. I don't want to create videos um like vlogging sure is fun, but I only want to vlog stuff that I want to remember personally. For example, I am going to like Calgary, Alberta, Banff, Canada,
Mhm.
for like 10 days. It's been on my bucket list for the past 5 years, and I'm
Mhm.
going with my friends. So I'm like heavily debating if I should vlog it or not, and I'm 90% will vlog it because that'll be like a trip of my life.
Sure.
So, and I want to make that like so sick. Like, I have some ideas, it will be like mind blowing, but only like I'm still like thinking about it.
Right.
But yeah, like I want to only create content on YouTube for myself. I don't really care about the numbers. And that's why I say that I don't know if YouTube's for me, because if YouTube was for me, like I would be striving for, that 1 million goal, or,
Right.
I want this many views. I want that fame. But I know people with fame, and I know people who aren't happy as well with the fame.
Right.
Like
So then if YouTube's not for you, considering that when we started this story, YouTube was the dream, it was the goal, it was the inspiration and everything. Now all these years have passed, you've made the videos, you've seen lots of highs, you've worked with some big people. Now we're at the point where you're saying YouTube might not be for you. What has replaced the dream?
my own business. That's what
Right.
it is. So I have my own business. It's
Mhm.
called YYZ Media.
Yeah.
So all I do is literally make videos for clients, and
What sort
I
of
love
videos?
so literally any type of video. So if you're having a wedding, I could create a wedding video for you. If you have a business, I could create a commercial for you. I could create an advertisement for you.
Nice.
Now TikToks and Reels are like popping up. People are
Mhm.
actually
Mhm.
paying me to make Reels for them, which is
Oh, for sure.
mind
Yeah,
blowing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Jesse
like I
Driftwood,
got
man.
yeah. So that's going, and like the end goal for me is to have a company that's on autopilot, and my job in that business is just to get clients and deal with them, and have a team of my own that goes in, does the work for me, comes back, and delivers for the client.
How
So
how
that's the dream right now.
how old is YYZ Media?
Uh, I rebranded it like last year, so I
Sure.
would say like 3 years in total. But yeah, YYZ itself has been like a year.
Is it just you?
It is currently just me. But so the way I'm working on it is that I outsource people, but I'm currently working on a team. So I'm gonna have my own graphic designer. I'm gonna have a website designer. I have myself as the photographer, like videographer.
Right.
And that's pretty much it so far. But I'm trying to have like more people on there, just like a lighting crew, filming crew, and whatever.
Is
But you got to
Ryerson
start somewhere.
is Ryerson still happening?
Yep. I just finished my first year,
Oh,
so right now I'm on break.
okay. And is it where you close to where you live? Do you have to go live there? What's the location wise situation?
So this was the first year of university, and because of COVID, everything was
Right.
online, which
Okay.
sucks.
Right.
But it was really good at the same time because I could work on other projects
Yeah.
while doing school. And not gonna lie, I kind of wish next year is online as well. Although it's not looking like it, I kind of wish it's online only because I want to travel.
Right.
So yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. But yeah, once school opens up, like uni opens up, I'm gonna have to drive like 40 minutes out to go there pretty much every single day.
Okay.
Or
But you'll still be
uh,
like local-ish. You can still work on the business and the clients and the stuff.
yeah, so best thing about Ryerson is that it's in the main court downtown Toronto. So
Right.
I'm gonna
Right.
be like literally in the city at all times. So if
Nice.
there's any clients, I could call them in Toronto and just work with them.
Work around the class schedule and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when does the shift happen from working on YouTube to starting to pick up like clients for video work outside of YouTube? 3 years ago?
right when I stopped working with Shahveer and grade 12 ended. So yeah, last year around there.
Okay.
So before that, I was still working, but I was working with like other companies. So I was working under other people. But now I've like focused on getting my own clients personally. So right now, this is what's happening. So right now, I'm working full time with Zaid. So
Mm.
Zaid Ali, I'm working.
Yeah.
I create all his videos, edit all his like I'm the production manager, you could
Right.
say. Like
Right.
I take care of every single thing.
Right.
So I have that. Then I have my own business that I'm currently running, and um, getting my own clients. Then I also simultaneously work with other companies or like under other companies, and have a job flowing through there.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have YouTube part time on, like, although there's no money, that's kind of like a job for me. So I simultaneously think of creating YouTube videos or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then I have lastly school, and I'm just maintaining
Yeah,
that.
you're for an 18-year-old, you're super super busy. Like I haven't met like a busier 18-year-old. Um but that's like that hustle is like I see how when I was looking at your videos and going through your profile, like I was like, oh cool, he got a car. He doesn't seem that old, which means he must be working super hard. Either that or his family is like super rich, but clearly it's the work that made it come through. Is that like your biggest purchase so far? Was that like a
Yeah,
dream? I saw your video with the car, and that
yeah.
was like a big deal.
It was a huge deal for me, yeah. But man, if I'm being honest, I really would just want to spend all my savings on traveling. I swear, like right when COVID opens up, I'm gonna be in a country every single month.
Right.
Like that's how I'm wishing, as school's online, so I could just travel on the or like study on the go. But right, like yeah, I just want to travel, and I think that's gonna be my biggest accomplishment. Like just travel, make films,
Why is travel such a big attraction for you?
because I love, just seeing new things. And I like, sure, Canada's good. Like I think Canada's the best country in the world. But
Right.
I
Nice.
really, really want to just leave the country and explore other places. I want to see other cultures. I want to see how people are around the world. I want to see the beautiful, beautiful landscapes in the world.
Mm.
And I just want to explore the world. And I think like a part of me belongs to that side. You know that film I was watching it a couple of days ago, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know how Ranveer Kapoor's like job is literally to travel the world
Sure.
and create videos.
Sure.
Like that's like I was watching it a couple of days ago. I was like, yo, that's a sick goal to have.
Right.
It's so fun. But
Do you have like a
yeah,
list? Like what's your top three?
Banff is number one. That's why I'm going there first. So
Okay, sure.
Banff, Iceland,
Iceland.
and after that, I have no idea, because those are the only, like, so you see that in the background. Well, okay,
Yeah.
hold that.
Oh yeah.
So or
I see
this
Peter
for you.
McKinnon. I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the car,
That's the car.
right? I got Daniel Schiffer
Nice.
over there. I got Peter McKinnon. I talked to Chris Howell a couple of days ago as well.
He
Through
seems like a
Instagram.
nice guy.
He's a nice guy too.
Yeah.
I've got, so one of the photos is like a house, and other photos like Banff, and so I have a vision board, and I
Banff
started
vision
doing
board,
this
yeah.
2 years ago. And man, vision boards are sick. Like I would recommend anybody to do a vision board. Because every single day you wake up and you see your goals in the form of photos. And my computer screensaver or background is my vision board as well. So I'm surrounded by it, and I look at it pretty much every single day.
It gives you direction, you'd say?
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. So one of the most important pictures up there is my own studio, like a sick studio. I have obviously some travel locations. I have some people I really want to work with. I have some brands I really want to work with, and like that's just the inspiration, I guess. Like that's where I want to head towards. And I think vision boards is something everybody should adapt into their life.
Okay. I was interested. This might seem like a weird question, but you've worked with Shahveer, you're working with Zaid. Do you have much of a connection or like a viewing relationship with Pakistani creators outside of people who are from Canada? I was wondering how that reach for those people goes in terms of like the Desi community outside of Pakistan.
you know what's so funny, man? I do not watch a single Pakistani YouTuber.
Right. Makes sense.
Like it's weird, but like I work with them, but I don't watch them. Even like after Zed's videos are posted, like I forget about it because I just feel like that's not my type of content. Like
Okay.
although I love the content we create, it's just not something that I would personally watch.
Okay.
But yeah, like I don't watch anybody except for Irfan Junaid. I love the guy's content, man.
Right.
Like I absolutely love every single thing about the guy. Like he's such a sick creator.
Mm.
Like when I started working with Shahveer, I actually didn't find out about Irfan Junaid till like 2 years ago.
Okay.
So like I found out about him like very recent, and the first video I watched of his was I think 94 hours or something like that in Turkey.
Right.
And that was such a sick video. I was
Right.
like, yo, that's, you know, see, now that's where traveling aspect comes out of from too, because like that was just a travel video.
Mm.
And, you know, that's like, do you know who JR Ali is?
No.
So JR Ali is his literal job is to travel the world and create cinematic videos for brands and companies.
Okay.
And I recently worked with him too. We made like a sick like short film, I want to say, but which hasn't been out yet. But like he was such a big inspiration to me. So I think he's like 21 years old as well, super young.
Wild.
And he's traveled the world. Like he's been to every single country, and he's working with brands and, you know, with travel agencies making videos. And like I found out about him like 3 years ago. Like I saw him for a really long time, and I loved every single thing he created. He's like an After Effects genius. Like he's a god at this stuff.
Right.
And like I was so, man, I'm telling you, when I worked with him, like I was shitting myself. I was like, yo, like I don't know what to do, because like I've literally watched this guy for years and now I'm working with him. But yeah, I think that was one of the most exciting times this year. I think it happened this year, but yeah.
Clearly travel. So travel. I think, yeah, you definitely need to vlog that trip to Banff. Considering, you know, because the way people speak sort of indicates, you know, things they're passionate about, and you've been talking about YouTube and videos and everything, but the travel thing really seems like it hits a note inside your mind, you know.
Yeah.
With like aspirations and stuff. That's cool. You mentioned you went to Pakistan recently?
No, it's been 5 years since I've
been 5 years. Huh.
But I'm thinking of coming to Pakistan. So last March, before COVID happened.
Yeah.
Or well, during COVID was happening, like in the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
I was thinking of either traveling to Pakistan or Paris. And the way
Two
I was
very similar locations.
So it was either I go to Paris, and I have a really good content creator friend over there. Just chill with him, create videos.
Yeah.
Or I go to Pakistan. I create a group with Osman, Saim, and some other creators, and we travel Pakistan.
Osman,
now the issue was
does and Saim.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I know those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So and just travel Pakistan, make sick videos. And you know, the guy in Paris, he was gonna fly out to Pakistan as well. So we would have had like a group of like 5-6 creators. We just travel Pakistan, make sick, like, you know, create. I had that idea, so I talked to them as well. They were down, but COVID was just starting, and my dad was like, yo, look, if you go, flights might get canceled, and they did get canceled. And
it's still tough.
It's still super tough, but like, man, yeah, traveling's been there. I really want to go to Pakistan, travel Kashmir and other locations, you know, because I see these places online, and that's a part of Pakistan nobody sees. And I really want to use my skill as a filmmaker to showcase that side of Pakistan.
What do you mean nobody sees? Like people perhaps in Canada or outside of Pakistan?
No, like in Canada, like nobody knows what Pakistan looks like. It's like, you know, like packed cities,
sure,
a lot of noise, whatever. It's just like the generic idea of Pakistan.
Right.
But nobody sees that side of Pakistan. And even me personally, I haven't seen every side of that of Pakistan. It's just that I've heard of it, and I've heard it's so beautiful that, you know, like I really want to personally go there and see what it's all about. Like some people say it's better than Banff, which I refuse to believe.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, it's not. No,
it's not.
Okay. I mean, the landscape might be up there, but the thing is that there's a lot of like small things like infrastructure that really affect your experience. Like when you go to Banff, you're gonna have, there's going to be electricity, running water, all that,
That's
clean,
true.
clear roads all the
But
way.
see, that's that's the experience of travel, because when you're traveling to different countries, you experience those things,
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's similar in terms of like the mountains will be crazy and that sort of stuff will be there, but they're not comparable experiences in terms of like, what you expect when you
Got
get
it.
there. Yeah. But I think that would be interesting, especially because 5 years is a long time and you're still pretty young.
Listen, I've
Um,
only been to Pakistan, like I've only been to Karachi, and I've
cool.
only been to like the
What do
bad parts of
you
Karachi, like
remember about Karachi?
the zinger burger that we used to get from like downstairs. I swear it's the best. That's the first thing I'm doing when I'm going to Pakistan. I'm getting a zinger burger, bro.
Nice,
Like I
nice.
remember that. That was like my favorite part of Pakistan.
That is,
But
yeah, wow, that's cool.
But yeah, I remember like I remember a lot of connectivity. Like everybody knew each other in the areas. And that's what you don't have in Canada, like I don't know my neighbors like
Really?
2 houses down. Yeah, like
Okay.
I just feel like that's something you don't do here. You just like
Perhaps people live their own lives. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm.
I love that about Pakistan. Like when my dad tells me stories about Pakistan, it's like, yo, everybody knew each other on the street. It was like a village, and
Yeah.
but that it's not a village; it's a whole city, and
Yeah,
like there's areas everybody knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I remember that. I remember a lot of noise on the streets.
Yep.
I remember what else do I remember? Like I remember my grandmother the most, man. Like if I'm being honest, like she passed away like a few years ago, like 2 years ago. My parents went to Pakistan at the time, and I really wanted to go. Like I only wanted to go because I wanted to see her. Like although I talked to her online, but like I really just wanted to sit down with her and just talk. But that unfortunately didn't happen because of the circumstances I was in. It was grade 11, 12,
Sure.
super hectic. And I miss her the most, man, because when I was starting, like she would always tell me, she's like, yo, like, like you're gonna do amazing. And she always, always, always supported no matter what I did. And she was the only person in Pakistan like I really, really, really wanted to go and, just see, chill with, and but yeah, like I think those were the memories of Pakistan that I really, really miss. But yeah.
No, that's fair, dude. I mean, I know exactly pretty much what you're talking about.
Yeah.
In terms of like your relationship with your grandmother. But okay, I mean, it's cool that you have that memory to hold on to, and
Yeah.
hopefully that Pakistan dream comes true like sooner than later, man. As soon as things open up.
Yeah.
How are restrictions in Canada? Has it loosened up a bit? My parents are there right now, actually.
Oh, nice. Where are they?
Yeah, my sister's in Toronto downtown, so they're living
Nice.
with her. But usually they're mostly in Karachi, but they visit now, and I told them to stay in Canada till Pakistan gets better.
Yeah. So today's June 2nd when
Yes.
we're recording this, and today's restrictions open up a little bit. Non-essential businesses are open for 15% capacity. Outdoor gathering limits are still the same, which is 5 people.
Okay.
And actually, no, non-essential businesses. No, I don't think they open today. Like it's super strict, man. So okay, so we had a stay-at-home order which got lifted today. So now you could actually go outside without any reason. Before you cannot go outside for any essential purpose without any essential purposes.
Was that being like enforced? Like did cops like ask you where you going, why are you going?
Yeah, on the weekends they did, and our what's Doug Ford? I don't even know what to call him.
Mayor.
Yeah, I think so. Whatever.
Yeah.
But he said that like in the middle, he was like, you know what, you cannot go outside without being stopped by a cop. Like he made that a rule, and the next day he took that back because of the backlash he was receiving.
Yeah,
like,
that's a bit
everybody was getting wild. They're like, this is not happening, especially during summertime when everybody's going outside. So yeah, so he took that back instantly, like the next day, under 24 hours. And he's like, you know what, I'm so sorry for doing that. But yeah, like things are opening up slowly. Cases are dropping significantly. Like 3 weeks ago, we were at like 3,000 cases a day in Ontario alone, not just Canada. And now we are at 700 cases a day.
Good. That's great, especially for a place as big as Canada. You getting vaccinated? Are you up for it?
I got my first vaccine. Yes, I
Oh,
got the Pfizer
nice,
one. Did you
nice,
get
nice.
it?
Yeah, I got it
Nice. How
like
do you feel?
2 months ago. Chill. I don't go out anymore. Ever since I started working from home, that's just been my life. And I used to get quite like weirded out when I would go out. I'd see like crowds of people and shit. Um, there's that sort of vaccine, the COVID paranoia, but that's gotten better with the vaccine. So yeah. So yeah, no, that's it. It's better now once I have the vaccine, and we're going to Pakistan and Dubai like in a couple months. I'll be much more at ease traveling with the vaccine than without.
Man, my cousin just got married last month, and I really wanted to go. Man,
In Pakistan?
COVID just in Pakistan, like two of
Mm,
my cousins.
wow.
And I really wanted to go. We were like debating heavily, like every single day. Like we were having arguments in the house. My dad's like, "No, you're not going." I kind of didn't want to go either. I was like, "No," like, but my mom really
Yeah.
like she was like, "Yo, I'm going." Like that's it. But like, no, man, like it's not safe at all.
Did she go?
Especially like, no, she didn't because of
Yeah.
because international travel is the worst. If you're traveling domestically, that's fine,
Mm.
but yeah, international travel is horrible.
And Pakistan, like, did you 2 months ago they got married?
No, last month.
Last month, yeah. Last month, Pakistan was also a bit crazy with the COVID numbers
Yeah.
and the stuff. It's better now. But yeah. It's also because like transiting, because you go through like if you go to the UAE, Emirates, or whatever, they shut down flights coming from Pakistan, even for transit.
I've heard a lot of stories where like people just get stopped in the other country and they have to
Yeah.
quarantine there and then travel. Like it's so weird.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Everyone's sort of just dealing with things as they happen, and there's no like plan. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, whatever, we'll do this now, maybe. But what's
Yeah.
speaking of plans, and as we're getting to the end of this, what's happening in the rest of 2021? I like to ask people what their plan is for like the next 6 months. What are your? We know Banff, we know travel. Like hopefully, maybe university is going to be online, so you get to travel. But what's on the 2021 second half vision board?
So this month, June itself, this is like a work period. Like every single day I'm working. So right now I'm working on certain projects. I'm trying to upload as many reels and Instagram posts as possible. It's so hard to make that content.
For your own
Yeah,
profile?
for my own stuff.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm trying to grow that a little bit. So that, and then I've got like I'm working with a lot of brands and I've got a few projects with Zed coming up.
Cool.
And yeah, so we're working on that in June. July, so at the end of June, actually, I'm taking a 3-day vacation to Quebec. And then I'm coming back. And then mid-July, I'm going back to the same place in Quebec, but with friends instead of family.
Nice.
So yeah, so a little bit of vacations here and there. July is gonna be again. So July is like a heavy wedding period. So especially since things are opening up, so that's gonna be a little bit of wedding season, and I'm still trying to get in more commercial shoots in at the same time.
Right.
And July again is gonna be a work period. August is where I chill out and just go to Banff. Enjoy a little before school starts in September. September school would start. So September is going to be like very chill on work, more focused on school. October is my birthday. Nice. So I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. Probably nothing.
Sure.
But again, man, it's just going to be work and school for the remainder of the time.
Okay. But that's fine as long as you're busy. I think you're the sort of person who can't be doing nothing.
I'm exactly that person. Yeah. I have to have something. Yeah. If there's nothing to do, I'll make a YouTube video. That's something. That's how YouTube's going right now.
Yeah. I understand. That makes sense. All right, man. Then look, this has been cool. I know you have to run, so we're gonna try and keep that deadline for you. Thanks for coming on the show. Where do you want people to go and find your work?
Instagram's the main place right now. So at ZAXAIN. Or is this going to be on Instagram?
It's going to be on YouTube, but we'll put the link.
Oh, nice.
There's going to be clips on Instagram too.
Nice.
It's going to be all over, wherever people can see.
Nice. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. But cool, man. You're not going to send people to your YouTube channel?
Or you could check out my YouTube. Yeah. It's just my name. So you could just search on Zain Rao, and then
it's in the thing below. TPR Pod, Ali Mahalapur, you know where it is. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming, Zen. We're gonna start.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on this. It was amazing talking to you. We discussed some very interesting topics. I'm really glad we did this.
All you, man. All you. It's that 1-2 minute Clubhouse interaction that led to this. We'll be in touch. Maybe I'll see you in Canada sooner or later.
Inshallah.
That might happen. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye.